Donald Trump is having a terrible Wednesday morning. It was just exposed that he will be holding a $1 million fundraiser. He's trying to keep this quiet. Friday, October 17th, 2025, a big lavish party taking place at Mar-a-Lago while the government shutdown is taking place. It's $1 million per person to be at this fundraiser. This is as the American people are suffering as a result of this government shutdown. More news about how Americans are being affected this morning by Donald Trump's disastrous policies. Even the Wall Street Journal reports grocery prices keep rising. Frustrated consumers are trying to adapt. Shoppers are cutting back on purchases, stockpiling certain foods, or exploring more affordable stores. Remember the COVID stockpiling? Well, Donald Trump brought you that, and he's bringing that back right now. A grocery store clerk cited in this article in Chicago says that shoppers see the price and say, "What the F?" It happens all the time, and then they push that food away because they're unable to afford it. We're learning more details right now about the Trump regime cutting a critical EPA program, a $20 million flood protection grant for Alaska's native village of Kipnuk in Alaska. The Trump regime cut the Biden program in May, saying that it was wasteful DEI spending. But on Sunday, and this is not being reported by corporate news, Kipnuk was devastated by floods relating to a typhoon. This is in the western Alaska area. Homes were destroyed, residents were stranded, individuals died, and it's very likely this could have been avoided had the emergency systems and had the flood protection systems remained in place that were under former President Biden. Does this sound familiar to you? It should, because remember the flash floods in the Guadalupe River in Texas, which the Trump regime and Texas MAGA Republican Party is still covering up. Former President Biden provided emergency system warnings in the form of grants for that to be built out. The MAGA Republicans in Texas said, "Too woke, we don't want to do emergency systems." So they took the money, didn't return it to the federal government, gave themselves bonuses, and did not install emergency systems. Also, the federal government during the Guadalupe River flash floods, you'll recall that was right around the 4th of July. You had them shut down emergency call centers, and they also did not activate the urban search and rescue teams within the first day or two. Kristi Noem did not sign off on the approvals. Speaking of Kristi Noem, what is she doing? What is the Department of Homeland Security doing? They've been spending hundreds of millions of your taxpayer dollars running propaganda ads on networks. Their most recent ad buy was about $51 million of Kristi Noem ads where she praises Donald Trump and threatens migrants. This is in addition to the hundreds of millions of dollars in ad purchases that they previously made as well. And one of the reasons that you may be saying, well, why is corporate news not reporting on some of this key stuff? Like, Ben, I didn't even hear about Kipnuk in Alaska and Trump canceling the EPA flood protection systems. Well, one of the reasons also is they're getting paid quite literally hundreds of millions of dollars from the federal government in the form of these ads that Kristi Noem is taking out. There's a number of other reasons. The corporate right-wing oligarchs being friends with Donald Trump and supporting an oligarchy. They want kings. They want authoritarianism. More on that in just a moment, though. Carl Quintanilla posted the following graphic as well. I think it's important that we look at this. Comes from the Harvard School of Business right here. You can see how tariffs are actually impacting prices, domestic goods as well as imported goods. Just look at the chart right here. I mean, you can see that the prices were going down, both domestic and imported, under former President Biden. You can see right here, as soon as Donald Trump took office, they start going back up. This is becoming very clear. Just look at the graphic of where the prices were going. They were going down. And the reason why they were up under former President Biden is, I know we like to have that, not we, but as a country, that Men in Black magic wand that erases people's memories. Donald Trump destroyed significantly the American economy during COVID. Our supply chains were destroyed. He printed money recklessly, administered the PPP program recklessly. And then former President Biden had to fix it. That's what happened. And so, yes, when you have to rip the Band-Aid off of what Trump created during his first term and all of the devastation from the trade war, yes, you're going to see problems. But we have to distinguish between the firefighter and the arsonist and not blame the firefighter for putting out the fire of the arsonist. Speaking of these arsonists, I just want to play these two clips back to back for you. So this right here, MAGA Mike Johnson at the press conference earlier, where he said the most threatening, he was asked by a reporter, what's the most threatening thing you're seeing out there? Like what really scares you, MAGA Mike? And he's like, well, I think it's the naked bicyclists in Portland, Oregon. Did you see that Antifa army of naked cyclists? Here's what MAGA Mike said. Here, play this clip.
What I've seen is the abuse of law enforcement by radical leftist activists. Most recently, the most threatening thing I've seen yet was the naked bicyclers in Portland who were protesting ICE down there. I mean, it's getting really ugly.
And at the same time, MAGA Mike has the audacity to say, I think that ICE agents have not crossed the line when it comes to peaceful protesters. Here's what MAGA Mike says there, and watch with the accompanying graphics. Let's play this clip.
To demand oversight on federal law enforcement, well, I've not seen them cross the line yet, and that we have committees of jurisdiction who have that responsibility, but it's not risen to that level. What I've seen is the abuse of law enforcement by radical leftist activists. Most recently, the most threatening thing I've seen yet was the naked bicyclers in Portland who were protesting ICE down there. I mean, it's getting really ugly. They have attacked, physically assaulted officers. People have been arrested, okay? This is serious business. And ICE and the valiant, brave, patriotic Americans who step up to serve in these dangerous law enforcement positions deserve our respect and our support. And any elected member of this body should be vocally supporting law enforcement. You're supposed to be on the side of the good, not the crazy radicals.
Did you know that the liver is the second largest organ in your body? It's responsible for over 500 functions in your body, but for some reason, liver health doesn't always get the attention that it deserves. Dose for Your Liver was formulated to cleanse your liver of unwanted elements, aid digestion, and maintain your body's filter. Why does this matter? Well, your liver is the second largest organ in your body and is responsible for over 500 functions in your body. It acts as your body's filter, flushing out unwanted elements and breaking down what you consume into essential nutrients. The liver produces and regulates cholesterol, stores vitamins and minerals, and impacts digestive and metabolic health, amongst many other things. Dose's science-backed formula promotes liver function, aids digestion, eases bloating, and even boosts energy levels. Clinical results. In a double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical trial, Dose for Your Liver lowered liver enzyme levels by 50% in over 86% of participants. Stick with Dose and feel the incredible benefits over time with more energy, better digestion, reduced bloating, healthier liver enzyme function, reduction of brain fog, and better sleep. One Dose for Your Liver shot is equivalent to 17 shots of turmeric juice. Dose is gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, and vegan. Save 30% on your first month of subscription by going to dosedaily.co/Meidas or entering Meidas at checkout. That's dosedaily.co/Meidas for 30% off your first month subscription.
Meanwhile, California Governor Gavin Newsom continues to ruthlessly mock Donald Trump over this photograph that Time magazine used of Donald Trump with his neck looking mildly pornographic, and we have to censor Donald Trump's neck because of the way it looks, apparently. But Governor Newsom pointing that out. Meanwhile, as I mentioned, this ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas, which Israel didn't sign and Hamas didn't sign, is already showing the problems that would seem obvious to people if you just exercised common sense. The fact that Hamas says it's not disarming, the fact that Israel is saying it's going to go back and blow up the Hamas tunnels, the fact that Donald Trump said he doesn't support a two-state solution, Netanyahu doesn't support a two-state solution. So when you factor those things together and you know the history of the region, I'm not really sure why earlier this week this was some spike the football moment. It was great that the hostages were released. That's a great thing. And the prospect of a ceasefire, that's a great thing. But the prospect is not the thing, and we have to wait until the conduct takes place. We know that Hamas has reasserted control over Gaza, which yesterday Donald Trump said he was okay with. He goes, I like that Hamas is going after the bad gangs in Gaza. You like that they're going after the bad... Hamas is the bad gang. What are you talking about, Donald? So Trump seemed to indicate support of Hamas yesterday. I mean, literally said it. I played the clip for you multiple times. So now, though, United States Central Command, CENTCOM, says, we strongly urge Hamas to immediately suspend violence and shooting at innocent Palestinian civilians in Gaza, in both Hamas-held parts of Gaza and those secured by the IDF behind the yellow line. This is, and then they put this in bold, CENTCOM, historic opportunity for peace. So that's gonna tell Hamas. That's going to tell Benjamin Netanyahu. Just use big, bold letters like Donald Trump's social media post. Well done, CENTCOM. Hamas should cease its fully standing down, strictly adhering to Trump's 20-point peace plan and disarming without delay. It didn't call for, Hamas didn't sign it. Hamas didn't agree to disarm. That's the thing I've been shouting. There's multiple versions of this ceasefire plan that exist, and that's one of the points I want to bring out. Meanwhile, another Palestinian was killed by Israeli fire in southern Gaza today. I think the death toll now is over 10 since the ceasefire of Palestinians who have been killed. There was more shooting, more tank fire this morning in certain areas in Gaza as well. We're following what's going on there very, very, very closely, and we'll keep you apprised. Meanwhile, Donald Trump posting more videos of shooting fishing boats, tiny fishing boats off the coast of Venezuela, and posting ISIS-style, or we should say Hamas-style death videos. Trump's posting his own ISIS-style videos of the United States military unlawfully blowing up fishing boats off the coast of Venezuela because the United States and Donald Trump bragging about their barbarism. And meanwhile, you have Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and other MAGA Republicans continuing to roll out a new line about the No Kings protests taking place this weekend. They go, no kings equals no paychecks. No kings equals no paychecks. I'm pretty sure our country was founded on the exact opposite thing, that we don't want kings in order to be free. But anyway, here's what Bessent says. Play this clip.
I believe that the Democrats will come to their senses soon. Maybe it's after this no kings thing, but no kings equal no paychecks.
And then he gave this interview on CNBC, and here's what he wrote. This is his line. No kings equals no paychecks. This is going to be the most far left, radical, extreme thing imaginable. Play this clip.
We're on day 15, and it doesn't look like there's any sign of a deal.
Well, there's a thought out there that they're at least waiting to this crazy No Kings rally this weekend, which is going to be the farthest left, the hardest core, the most unhinged in the Democratic Party, which is a big title, and no kings equal no paychecks. We are paying our military today. The Pentagon went into surplus funds and will be able to make paychecks. And
and then MAGA Mike goes in, and MAGA Mike says, we're going to see the pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist wing of the Democratic Party this weekend. These are peaceful protests of tens of millions of Americans who don't like the idea of a tyrant, of an authoritarian like Trump, and sycophants like MAGA Mike destroying our country, ripping away our health care, making things far less affordable, destroying the quality of life, destroying government. But here's what MAGA Mike says. Let's play this clip.
I mean, the contrast between these parties could not be any more stark. And I encourage you to watch. We call it the Hate America rally that will happen Saturday. Let's see who shows up for that. I bet you see pro-Hamas supporters. I bet you see Antifa types. I bet you see the Marxists in full display, the people who don't want to stand and defend the foundational truths of this republic. And we do. And that's what we're here doing every single day. And
Matthew Iglesias makes a good point right here. He goes, this is driving me insane. When Joe Biden was president, the idea of a ceasefire deal that returned the hostages but left Hamas around to lead in Gaza was portrayed by the American Jewish right as the greatest betrayal of the Jewish people in history. But when Trump does it, this is now viewed as some genius plan. I couldn't agree more. I mean, Trump's plan has Hamas still in charge right now. And Trump was saying he's good with that. Trump verbalized that multiple times in the clips that I've been showing you over the past, he keeps saying it over and over again. I want to highlight this as well from Haaretz, which is a paper in Israel, by the way. I want to be clear what Haaretz is. So freed after 2 years in Gaza, Nimrod Cohen told his father that the food dwindled when aid was blocked in March. And after Monday's reunion, Yehuda Cohen said those responsible, primarily the prime minister, must step aside. And by the way, Benjamin Netanyahu was at his court hearing today for criminal charges against him for bribery and fraud. Here's what took place. There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.